Hi everyone, welcome to Trade and Management channel. In this video we will be covering on advising of LC. What are the key things we need to look into when you are advising an LC? Advising of an LC. So what you will be looking into as soon as you receive an LC. So whether you are working in an advising bank or an export side of the bank, so what you will be looking in when you receive an LC. So those things we are going to discuss in this video. So now as soon as you receive an LC, so for advising, so you need to check the authenticity of the LC, and they also say you need to check the workability of the LC. So workability of the LC is nothing but from where you are receiving the LC, from which bank you are receiving the LC, from which country you are receiving the LC. Now compliance has been the key things. Most of the banks are looking to compliance side, so the awareness of compliance is more. So you need to check from whether it's a sanctioned country. All these things you need to check. So which bank you are receiving, which country you are receiving, what is the currency and amount, is there any tolerance, okay? So those things, and then you will be checking on where the LC is available, whether it's available with a particular bank or available with any bank, okay? Then expiry date of the LC, port of loading, port of discharge, late shipment date, okay? And then goods description. Basically you need to check the goods description also, what kind of goods they are dealing it, whether it's a dual use goods, okay? And then the line of business of your customer. So mostly the beneficiary will be your own customer. Sometimes it need not be your customer also, okay? So in that case you need to check the line of business for your own customer, okay? And then the list of documents. So what are all the documents required, you need to check. And then additional conditions, any non-documentary conditions are there, or any condition which is not workable for this LC, those things you need to check. And whether what type of LC, whether it is a transferable LC or revolving LC or those kind of things, different types of LC you need to check, okay? What type of LC you have received, okay? And then whether the bank is asking you to confirm, so whether it's a confirmed LC or not unconfirmed LC, okay? And whether issuing bank has given their address properly. So in order to send the documents to the issuing bank, you need to check that also, okay? So these are all the key things. And then charges, basically, so you need to know whether charges is on account of applicant or beneficiary. So those things also you need to check. Any reimbursing bank is involved, and what is the reimbursement terms, or the how you are going to get the payment on a site basis, if there is a site LC, usance LC, okay? And how it will need to be reimbursed, okay? Whether they have account with you, or whether you are going to claim, okay? All these things, okay? So from top to bottom, this is called the workability of the LC, which you need to check before you advise the LC. Now, a credit and any amendment may be advised to the beneficiary through an advising bank. So, if there is not what you call a compulsion that all LC should have an advising bank. Sometimes issuing bank can issue LC directly to a beneficiary without need for an advising bank also. That is also possible, okay? So whenever an advising bank is there, then they will check the authenticity of the LC and whatever the workability which we discussed previously, and they will advise. So advising bank role is to just to advise the credit without any undertaking to honor or negotiation. So advising bank role is just to advise only, okay? They will not say that we will do the negotiation, or we will make a payment for your LC. Those things are not a role for an advising bank, okay? So advising bank role is just to advise the credit, okay? That is the basic rule, and they need to check the authenticity. So that's what they do. So that is the role of an advising bank. Okay, an advising bank role is to check the authenticity of the credit or amendment, and that advice accurately reflects the terms and conditions of the credit or amendment received. So whatever they receive from the instructing party, so which can be an issuing bank, which can be a first advising bank, whatever it is, okay, from wherever they receive, they need to advise exactly what they receive. So that's what they cannot delete or whatever the information what they got, but they can add extra instructions which they need to inform the beneficiary. So this is what they can do. Okay. So sometimes the advising bank may utilize the service of another bank, the second advising bank, which may be due to issuing bank do not have an RMA relationship with the second advising bank directly. So if that is the case, then the second advising bank also need to check the authenticity of the credit or amendment, and that advice accurately reflects the terms and conditions of the credit or amendment received. And then if the bank uses the service of first advising bank or second advising bank, then they need to use the same bank to advise any further amendment to the credit. So if a bank elects not to advise a credit or amendment, then it should inform the bank from which they received the request without delay. So if an advising bank is not interested to advise the LC to the beneficiary, then they need to inform the bank from where they receive. So if it is from the issuing bank or if it is from the first advising bank, so they need to inform the bank that they are not interested to advise. If they are advising ready to advise the LC, then also they have to inform them they have advised the LC to the beneficiary accordingly. So all these things should be done without delay. Okay. Next, the partial acceptance of amendment is not allowed. That means if an LC, the amendment have 4 points. So okay, if beneficiary accept only 2 points in the amendment and 2 points is rejecting, it's not possible. So he need to accept all the 4 points, or he need to reject all the 4 points. He cannot take anything which is favorable and unfavorable to be rejected. Okay, so whether he need to accept the full amendment or reject the full amendment. So partial acceptance is not allowed. And then you cannot force a beneficiary to accept an amendment, but by providing certain time frame, that is like within 1 week. If you don't accept the amendment, then we will assume that you have accepted it. Those kind of things you cannot include in your amendment. So there cannot be any time frame for the beneficiary to accept or reject. So the beneficiary has the right to accept or reject the amendment anytime on or before the expiry date of the credit. Okay, so this is what on the amendments are. Yeah, now we have come to the end of this video. So you can reach out in the WhatsApp number and the email ID displayed in this slide now, and I'll be posting videos related to trade finance subject and also CTCS examination point of view. So people who are interested can like my channel and subscribe my channel, so that and also the bell button you can click, so that any new videos if I post you will get a notification. Okay, see you, thank you, and we'll meet in next video.